Welcome to Are You Not Entertained? I'm Jared Pike. This is Bo Yoakley.
Hi.
We're excited this week. We're going to talk a lot about Mike Tyson
Yep.
and Jake Paul, one of the greatest live fails ever in probably entertainment history. We're going to talk about Wicked coming out and Gladiator on the same weekend.
What's Wicked? There's only Gladiator.
Yeah, he's obsessed with Gladiator. He's already saying Gladiator 2 is his second favorite movie of all time.
I haven't seen it yet, but it's my second favorite movie
He's
of all time.
obsessed with Gladiator. And everything. And then there's some insight into that, like with Oscar stuff and casting and Academy Awards. So that he has, I find very interesting. And we're from the Sage Plant Studios, our new studio. We love it.
Thanks to our sponsors for the massive influx of funding that we have to buy this actually in cash.
Yeah, that was nice.
It was nice.
I wanted to buy it in Bitcoin, but you know.
Did you hear about that guy? You've heard about that guy, right? Who I just read this. This was like 2010. It's so funny you brought this up. There was a guy who didn't have any cash on him, and he wanted to buy some pizzas. Well, the guy who was working at Domino's was like, I'll take your Bitcoin instead of money. The guy's like, okay. So the guy bought pizzas with 10,000 Bitcoins to equate to like $12, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2010. Today, there's 10,000 Bitcoins, $900 million.
Oh
900 million. So they call it the most expensive pizza in the world. I just read that. It's been around for a bit.
No, yeah, we all like know somebody that had like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
No one was talking about it, for a fraction of a penny.
Yeah.
And now it's, it's 80,000 or whatever it is now. It's blown up.
Maybe closer to 90. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a record recently.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a player, Odell Beckham Jr., who's been with a bunch of different NFL teams, dated a Kardashian. And a few years back with the Rams, he took his salary in Bitcoin and people made fun of him.
Yep.
Because it immediately tanked. Yep. And now it's way up. And he was showing like how much it's
like doubled his contract, right?
Yeah.
It like doubled his contract.
Way more than what he would have made.
I saw him at a club one time.
Really?
Yeah, in Punta Cana. Yeah. He was there with his posse. He was like in his VIP table. He had his white hair. And so I, went up and said, hey, he's like, what's up?
So
it was cool.
He was in Ballers, the show with The Rock, where he plays an agent. He played himself, but he was actually not bad. Sometimes it's like playing himself, but some actors are stiff. He was kind of in the middle. He was okay.
Yeah, I mean,
not bad.
Are you talking about The Rock?
You don't hate him. You hate The Rock.
I don't. I like
I'm trying to ruin his career.
I like him as a person.
You were on a set with him.
Yeah, as a person, he's amazing. But like, I'm tired of seeing him everywhere. You know what I mean? I think everyone's kind of tired of seeing him everywhere. That's why I like Red One. This was it. What were $250 million opening
budget.
Weekend. $30 million.
Yeah,
it's like gonna be the biggest flop of the year because I think people are just tired of.
Besides Joker too.
Him. Yeah. It wasn't financially. I think Red One's gonna be a bigger.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know what's doing worldwide, but it just also didn't look like a good movie.
It didn't. I'll watch it on Netflix maybe, but I'm not gonna.
Well, you should like it though because it's original. It's not some knockoff it's not some redo of some other old movie.
I love original, but clearly the content was not there because it is.
Even the preview, I'm like, well, what is it now? He's a bodyguard for Santa Claus? Like, what is? I don't know.
Yeah, and then they had a polar bear bodyguard too. It's like just CGI. I don't know.
It looks. Stupid.
It seemed like there was like 20 chefs in the kitchen writing this thing. It's like what else we should do? We should do this, or no, let's do this. And like, everyone just got their say, and that's what a lot of movies are nowadays. Just a collaborative of 50 different creators, and
no one can say no to like a certain idea,
right, or a certain hierarchy level, in
right?
The production office.
Well, yeah, and we'll get into some of that stuff. The biggest story, of course, is Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. They're saying 60 million households watched it, which would be equivalent. The second most watched event of the year besides Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah, Joker 2. And man, what a debacle. Yeah. Netflix is buffering. Netflix can't keep up with the streaming.
And that just made it worse.
Yes.
If Netflix would not have any problems, I think most people would be like, okay, the fight sucked. But now it's like I think everyone was just pissed at Netflix. We're like, you guys are the biggest production office, and somehow you guys fumbled.
You weren't ready for it. I was so much so I downloaded the AT&T app for my cell phone, and I was taking my kids off of Wi-Fi, and I'm turning off all the Wi-Fi in the house because I thought it was my TV.
I did the same thing.
And then I put it on Facebook. I said, anybody else having problems with Netflix? And hundreds of comments. Yes, this sucks. Yes.
Yeah.
And
it just added to the tension. The people, because everyone wanted, even the betting, everyone wanted Tyson to win.
Of course.
I know a lot of people who bet on Tyson to win.
I bet on Tyson to win.
Against me.
That was stupid.
Well,
I mean,
I appreciate
it
it.
was fine on the apps because it's like whatever, $5 or $10. But to you, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, people wanted Tyson, so they're betting according to, oh man, Tyson, 1984 was like, dude, it's not. He's a 6-year-old man.
Yeah,
He had his feet in concrete. You can't be that good when you're fighting someone that much younger and that much more mobile, that much faster, and that much more. He is a talented boxer. I mean, people don't give him credit. He's a freaking talented boxer.
I mean, for how long he's boxed, yeah. I mean, he has skills and he's in great shape. He was
Yeah.
I think, a state champion wrestler. I think he wrestled in college, Jake Paul. But there is all sorts of controversy about if it was rigged or not. And our producer Roy, we had to fire your wife for different reasons. We don't get into it, but
It was sexual harassment on my part.
yeah,
I just couldn't leave her alone.
I know. And I was like, come on. I said, aren't y'all married? She's like, I don't. It's unwanted. But producer Roy was saying, and it's true, but that
Roy will be fired soon from your sexual harassment to him.
I don't know. I think he prefers it.
Maybe.
But he's like, wait a minute, I'm not a part of this nonsense. But that it was scripted and that there's in the contract that it had to go at least 6 rounds, maybe the distance for Mike Tyson to get paid the full $20 million. And Mike Tyson, this has been widely reported, not allowed to do uppercuts, like because that's his finishing move.
Yeah,
that's his
power
shot.
You saw him pull back a couple times, not doing the
right.
His uppercuts.
So whether it's true or not, I don't know. But it's just my take on it. Mike Tyson went out, so I'm trying to knock this dude out in the first round. He went after him like he normally does in a lot of his fights, even when he was younger. And then he was clinching. Jake Paul was clinching him and holding him for the first 2 rounds. And I think he was like, I'm not going to chase this young dude around for 8 rounds. I can't chase him around. He bummed me, and he had like 8 blood transfusions over the summer.
Yeah,
he almost died, Mike Tyson. So he probably shouldn't have fought.
He tripped on his way out too. I was like, ooh, God! Like
on
his way out, you saw me like kind of stumbled over a cord or something.
Well, a little unfair. Dude's almost 60, and you have him walk a mile before the thing starts. But he even get into the ring.
He looked totally different when he was walking out. He looked like he was going to a lamb to the slaughter. He looked either afraid or even.
My brother said that he looked scared,
ashamed.
Yeah.
Some people say like he knew he was just taking the pay, for this thing.
Because and all the training videos up until I think the training videos we saw where he was quick and powerful. Not those training, you're not whatever, was before the health scare. I don't think any of the training videos were after the health scare.
Anyone can look like an amazing fighter for 6 seconds at a time.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? And like angles and cutaways and stuff. I mean, clearly that's what.
But that's before his knee's jacked. I mean, he didn't want to make an excuse, but it's a payday.
Of course,
and
20
Jake
million,
Paul
right?
made 40, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah, he made 20 and Jake made 40. Good deal. I heard someone say that Jake Paul is the greatest marketer in history.
Mm-hmm.
It was Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. He said that Jake Paul is the greatest marketer in history to be able to get Netflix to sign off on this and then get Tyson to agree. Yeah, and get Tyson. Well, has it been paid yet? I don't know. There may be some weird something. I don't know. Yeah. It always gets weird when people get paid at the end of fights. You've heard so many, horrible nightmare stories like I've never been paid, $200 million, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it was a total debacle. Absolutely.
Well, no, but the funny thing about just our culture now is the fact that it was a disaster gives Netflix more publicity. And I mean, how many people are actually going to cancel because it buffered? Probably very little.
Uh-huh.
And then they gained so many people that were so interested. I mean, my daughter doesn't, it's anecdotal, but my daughter does not care about, like, she plays some sports growing up, but she's not really into sports. Super Bowl she'll watch because it's a big event. She wanted to watch because she hated Jake Paul because of Vine back in the day and YouTube. She wanted to see him get knocked out. Like, she came downstairs, like, are they fighting yet? I'm like, no, it's only hour 10 of this marathon. And then, she came down to watch it. But I think there's a lot of people that had a lot of interest. I mean, they had 60 million households. That's a huge number of people watching.
It's got to be their most viewed thing ever, right?
For Netflix? Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's the first live sporting event they've done, too. But, I mean, I tell you what, they did no favors of themselves if they're considering getting NBA or NFL or whatever. Because people are like, we don't want to watch your programming that buffers every 12 seconds. You got to log out. We logged out and logged back in probably 15 times during the fight. I mean, from start to finish. I mean, the girls fighters were amazing.
Yes.
Whoever they were great. But yeah, the Tyson fight was
totally boring. I mean, it was oh my God. It was terrible. My favorite part of the night was when Mike Tyson, they were interviewing him before the fight. I mean, he was, in his dressing room and he's talking to the guy and he's like, oh, serious. And he's worked up his sweat and all this stuff. And he's like, I mean, business, I'm going to go out to knock him out. And then he gives the guy a kiss. I don't know. It was his son.
That's the son.
It was his son. Okay. Yeah. And he's like, all right, I love you. And then he walks off and he's just see Mike Tyson's butt. And it's like wearing the jockstrap
Is a
thing.
jockstrap, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and that had to be a debacle. I don't know though. That was like
I
the
did
highlight
not
of the
know.
night. Honestly, it was like, you're gonna see Mike Tyson's ass when he walks away after the interview. That's
I don't know if you're
pretty
60 if you're
hilarious.
going to agree to see.
We laughed hysterically.
We did too.
I mean, for
But
20
did you
minutes.
just see that? And somebody was looking down, they missed it. That's like we had to rewind it and stuff. It was like, what? This thing is bizarre. But yeah, Jake Paul.
So bizarre.
Jake Paul is he's a great marketer. I mean, he's taken, he was on Vine and all these different things before a lot of people. He's like dedicated his life to social media, and then this whole boxing thing. He went from fighting like an NBA player and like knocking him out. Some dude who should no business in the ring at all.
He's fought a few. He's fought Nate Diaz. He fought Tyron Woodley. A couple UFC fighters, but these guys were washed up UFC fighters.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's fought Tommy Fury.
He lost. Yeah.
And he lost. That's the only professional boxer he fought, and he lost. So I don't know if anyone who loves Jake Paul. Like, no, everyone's rooting against Jake Paul
and he knows it.
For Tyson.
Right.
And then that's the reason you got the betting the way he had it. It was, Dave Portnoy said, it's the lock of a lifetime. He's like, I'm going all in on Jake Paul. And this is what I heard before I bet you.
Oh, I heard Dave Portnoy didn't. I heard Dave Portnoy after the fact said I should have.
No,
but I bet with my heart and I bet Tyson.
No, he did it. He did himself.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did a video beforehand. He said, this is a lock of a lifetime. And then afterwards he did. He said, I wish I went heavier.
Oh, heavier. I got you. Yeah. Well, and then also Jake Paul owns a betting site that or he's heavily invested, like Bet365 or something.
That's his?
So he's getting money each.
Better.
Yeah, better.
Okay.
So like he's getting money every which way you can imagine.
Yeah, no, he's a brilliant marketer, and he had a smoke show girlfriend. That's the way you walk into a fight. You got a smoke show girl beside you. You're feeling confident. He's wearing a nice suit. He said his boxing outfit was the most expensive boxing outfit to ever be made. It was $1 million.
Just for the shorts.
With the shorts, I think it was a robe, maybe too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But smart plan his part too, because now he has that wardrobe that he beat Tyson in. Yep. And it was already worth $1 million. It's probably now worth $5 million. Right. Someone would pay for that. So I mean, again, he can't help but win when making money. And as far as friends, or as far as making people love him,
or would you want to see him box again, or is it dependent on who?
I want to see him box. I want to see him box a real boxer.
Yeah,
a professional like Tommy Fury. I mean,
the crazy thing is that one got the least amount of interest. It's like when he's fighting a name. Like people were joking,
Bill Nye the Science Guy or something,
or the next guy who's going to fight is Jimmy Carter. He's
just I saw that.
Or they're digging up Muhammad Ali's
casket.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't have any interest in seeing him unless he's fighting. It's like a spectacle type thing.
Yeah.
If it's like you got to be really into boxing to watch it.
I don't think any real boxer followers really watching that. No. I think they thought it was just a publicity stunt, and it was right. Yeah, all the real fighters I know, none of them are like keyed up for this fight though. This is just a stupid like episodic of the Kardashians. This is nothing but reality TV.
Right.
It wasn't real, Scotty.
But the thing about it though, I think it's one of those things like you'd have a fear of missing out. Like if you didn't watch it, you'd be like, I missed it.
Yeah, it was a cultural event for sure.
Yeah, and that's hard to do. It's hard to pull off those type of things where like the whole country is sitting down. Actually, a lot of the world is sitting down to watch this spectacle.
It's like not watching the election on election night. Like I'm going to go do something. It's like, I mean,
we're not watching the Super Bowl. It's like you feel like you're going to miss out on the commercials or whatever you're into.
Yeah. My wife a lot of times is like, we can mute the game, but then commercials come on. Unmute it. Yeah, that's time we watch.
Well, the thing about that is that bothers me now about Super Bowl commercials is now they leak them. They don't leak them. They purposely put them out online ahead of time. So like really not any surprises anymore.
Yeah. I mean, they usually as one or two, but again, it's not like it was back early.
No, where it's like, oh my God, you had to watch the commercials.
What was the Pepsi? And they try to do this stupid thing where they brought back the Gladiator commercials for Pepsi, and they either had this new version of it. But back in like the early 2000s, I think it was 2000, they had like Britney Spears and Beyonce
Michael Jackson
as gladiators. That commercial was the greatest. But then they redid it. Now I have like Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
and like all these other football players dressed as gladiators. Maybe it's because of Gladiator 2 coming out, but it is just garbage.
It's bad.
The original.
That's how much you love Gladiator because I have no recollection of that at all.
Of the movie?
No. Well, actually, I've never seen it. I never told you that.
You've never seen Gladiator?
I've never seen it.
No, seriously.
What year did it come out?
For real, stop.
I've never seen it. What year did it come out?
2000.
I was in South Africa. That's why. After 2 years where I was on my mission where I missed every movie.
So you didn't think it was important to come back and like watch the greatest movies?
I asked if I could fly back just to watch it, and they're like,
"Well, they have movie theaters in South Africa?"
No, they don't. This was just drawings.
They're lost.
They draw it on site. No, but I was thinking the other day, like, it's your favorite
movie. They draw
movie,
in the sand.
And it's an iconic movie. And I was like, I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
I cannot. Why are we even having this conversation then?
Because you love Gladiator.
I know, but I'm saying, how do you not how you consider yourself like a movie connoisseur and you haven't seen
No, I have
Gladiator?
a 2 year
You know what
period where I missed
Titanic
it.
is?
No,
Braveheart?
never heard of it.
Okay.
What else?
Gone with the Wind?
Nope.
None of those? Okay. You know what
Anything-
these movies are?
Those are movies?
They are movies.
Oh,
No, that's actually insane to me. That
I've seen all
literally-
these.
You should get fined for that. It's literally one of the
I actually
greatest
like it
movies.
because you love it so much. I haven't seen it. I really don't care to see it.
Well, are you gonna see the new one?
No, I'm going to see Wicked.
God, dude, I hope you're joking.
Have you seen Wicked the musical? Roy, you've seen Wicked the musical, right?
No, we're men. We watch Gladiator.
Uncultured, both of you.
And you're like, oh, let's go see Wicked. That'd be great. No, dude, it's
I'm
Gladiator.
going to put money on it.
bust.
Wicked will make more money than Gladiator.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, so we're right here.
Are we doing worldwide or
We're
domestic?
doing domestic.
No, worldwide.
Well,
Gladiator
you just
has
asked
reach.
me. You
No,
just
I'm asking.
Okay,
What are you basing it on?
Worldwide.
All right.
Okay, $100. Gladiator will make
I
more.
think it'd be always 100,
All right, $100.
50,
100. 75. 75.
30,
75 in the middle.
Bitcoin, Dogecoin,
Do you want to do it or not?
50.
All right, $50.
All right.
Gladiator will make more than Wicked.
At the end of its run.
No, opening weekend.
No, we didn't say that.
That's what every movie is judged. Roy, that's what
No, that's
every
not
movie
true.
is judged of. Is opening weekend.
No,
Yes,
it's not
it is.
what it's judged
Yes, it is.
on.
Yes, it is.
No.
A box
There's
office.
been no second. Okay, if you did that, Joker would have been projected. Joker 2, after opening weekend, would have been projected to make way more money than it did. It had the biggest drop off weekend number 2.
It's not about drop off. It's about which one makes the most the opening weekend.
No, I'm
That's
not doing
how.
that bet.
That's how a box. You're shaking. That's how a box
No,
office
I'm doing
judges.
it over when you say
With
what's
you-
going to make more money when it's done.
Jared, then you could be like, well, the run's not done in 5 years later
No,
because
no,
the
no,
run's still
no,
not done
I mean,
because
when
there's
it's-
DVD releases. Like, no, dude,
No.
we're doing opening weekend. That's
It'll
how
be
movies
clear
are
after
judged.
like 3 or 4 weeks.
You know, Red One, the massive box office bomb.
Right.
It's being judged off the opening weekend. It's not judged off.
Because it's projections, though.
Well, because they made $30 million on a $250 million budget opening weekend.
But some
That is a
movies have
bomb.
legs, though. Like even Titanic, when it first came out, had a huge opening weekend, but it was in theaters for like 6 months and doing well. Like it just would never leave theaters. If I think after the first weekend, like, oh, this might make $1 billion. Oh, they think it's make 2.7 billion or whatever it made. 2.
Well, like with Oppenheimer and then Barbie, they both crushed
Yeah.
the opening
But
weekend.
Barbie won.
Well, exactly. They won because they had longer legs.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the day, a movie primarily is based on the opening weekend. If it's a bomb or if it's not, because that determines. I'm telling you, I know this. That determines how long they keep it in the box office. So if it's not a good movie, they're going to.
If it's off to a bad start, yeah, I think they're both gonna have a great start. Now, okay, how about this?
Because you
All
don't,
right.
you can have a runtime. You can say like, well, let's judge it in a year from now. No,
No,
it's
no, no. It has to have
opening
an
weekend.
ending. We have to end time because
Opening
I made this.
weekend.
I made this bet one time against Jason on the morning show that I'm on, Jared and Katie in the morning. But that he said Avengers would make more money than Avatar. The Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll take that bet. I said it'll be close, but I'll take that bet. Avengers went out of theaters, and then got re-released 30 days later before we concluded our bet, and it passed Avatar.
See,
Then Avatar came out 3 months later, back in theaters and recaptured. Now they're back to being the number one movie of all time.
You guys want me to tell you projections?
yeah.
Yes,
go ahead,
projections.
Yeah, Roy, projections.
Gladiator 2 projected to make between 60 and 80 million.
I'll take Wicked.
Wicked is projected to make between 100 and 125 million.
Okay, so do you want to go open weekend then?
Sure.
Cool.
All right.
That's what
So that's how you have to negotiate with Jared. Just tell him some stats that somehow make people think that
No,
Wicked's new better, and then he'll.
Well, first of
agree
all,
to
I
your
said
terms.
Wicked's going to make more overall in the long run. The short run, I'm not as sure about, but I'll take it.
Well, the long
That's
run
what
and what
box office
50.
go, by the way.
That's
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'm
Okay.
telling you.
Because not everyone's you. I mean, it's going to be big. I'm going to go. Which one do I want to see more? Of course, I want to see Wicked more. No, I do actually.
From a
I've
man
seen,
who
I've seen
hasn't
on
seen
stage. I've
Gladiator.
seen them on stage. My daughter does musical theater. She's been into it, and I haven't seen the first Gladiator.
Okay. Well, I'll be more than happy to take your money again.
But I love Denzel. And that's the only reason I'm going to go see it.
Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, Pedro Pascal and then Paul Mescal.
I get those confused because the names are too close.
They're pretty similar.
I don't know who they are. I know Pedro. Who's the other guy? What's he been in?
Paul Mescal. He's been in a lot of it's kind of songs. She's smaller.
He's our Jamie. He's our Joe Rogan
Look at
Jamie.
Roy.
You're like, Roy,
Where do you get him?
keep the phone out. We don't know what we're talking about.
Clearly, we don't.
But okay, so but with that, it is kind of like the Barbie Oppenheimer weekend
Yeah.
where it's definitely counter programming. Can you explain what counter programming is for people who
I
don't know?
can. So they have basically one side of the market is going to be going in one direction with the family friendly, with the people who have kids, with what's wicked, right? And then you have the real men masculine leaders of the world will go see something like Gladiator or an Oppenheimer. And so they're
Yeah.
hitting both sides of the market. So they're not competing for the same dollar. There's certain people that are not going to see Oppenheimer like they were back in the day, but they will see Barbie and vice versa. Some people were not going to see Barbie, so they didn't have to worry about splitting the money down the middle according to, this person's only going to see one. I saw both. I'm an equal opportunity person.
You saw Barbie?
I did. My wife.
So y'all are giving me crap for not saying I'm going to see Gladiator open the weekend, but you both saw Barbie? I saw Oppenheimer open the weekend.
Wait a
Thank
second.
you very
So
much.
you're
So-
comparing me seeing Barbie to you not ever seeing Gladiator. That in your
No,
world
what
is
I'm
the
saying
same
is
thing.
you're giving me crap about that I'm not going to see Gladiator opening weekend, but Wicked, and you both have seen Barbie? No, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
I didn't.
Both the same weekend, to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay, Roy
yeah.
saw them the same weekend.
I think I saw him on Oppenheimer during the week and then Barbara on the weekend.
But
So
you
same week.
said you told me off the podcast that you like Barbie better.
Good God. I think
No,
our
Oppenheimer
audience
and
knows that
Gladiator.
is not
He
the
did.
case at all.
He said he liked the message about how men are the worst thing on earth. I haven't seen it. I don't know. I just heard the Mattel board is about 50-50.
I'm a Chris Nolan fanatic. I mean, in my bit, him and Ridley Scott, funny enough, they're my two favorite directors. So, like, you have.
I do like Ridley Scott.
Oh, my God. And then Chris
He
Nolan.
did Man on Fire, or is that Tony Scott?
It's Tony Scott, his brother.
Oh, he's dead, though.
Yeah.
He gone.
Unfortunately, it's his brother.
that
It's hard
was
to believe
sad.
that's his brother, but yeah.
Yeah. He jumped off the San Francisco Bridge, didn't he? Golden Gate Bridge.
Apparently. I don't know. There's some squirreliness. I don't know. I'm a conspiracy theorist.
You are. Well, what do you think happened?
I have no idea. I just know it's weird that
Well, it
someone
is
like Tony
weird.
Scott's like, like no signs, like I'm gonna go jump off a bridge on the middle of the afternoon or something.
I
It's
know.
weird.
And he's so successful. But
So hey, Man on Fire. Have you've seen that, right?
Mhm.
It's about a man who catches on fire.
Yeah.
It's a
It's kind of boring.
perfect movie. Again, Denzel.
Man on Fire, I love.
Perfect movie.
Creasy.
Yeah, John Creasy. Yeah,
Creasy, yeah.
Yeah.
Dakota Fanning.
absolutely.
And they did, have you seen Equalizer 3?
Yes, I've seen
Freaking
all of
love
Denzel.
that, man.
I've seen all.
Well,
of Denzel.
Dakota Fanning's back, but as an adult. I mean, it's
Mhm.
nothing to do with Man on Fire, but
Still, it's cool to see them reunited.
it had a
after
Man on
some
Fire
years.
feel to it.
All of his Equalizer movies do.
First and third were, I think, the best. Second was okay.
There's a lot of like kind of movie conspiracy that John Creasy is Equalizer just in a different universe. So like they're the same person.
Okay, this is not Marvel.
No. But they're saying like that
The Spider-Verse.
that Equalizer was
Denzel-verse.
supposed to be before Man on Fire. So like
I
this
see.
takes place.
They're very similar characters.
Exactly, and they're spy kind of espionage kind of who is this guy? You don't really know how he learned these skills, all that stuff.
I prefer Queen Latifah's Equalizer on TV.
Is that a real? Oh, that's right. That's a show.
It might be good. It seems stupid.
I think
Nothing against Queen Latifah. I think she does a good job as an actress.
Trying to get canceled, huh? See?
No, I'm just saying,
Everything
it's
we
like,
say is just trying not to get canceled.
Can we not do that? What if they had with the Gladiator? They had like Queen Latifah as the Gladiator. It's
I
like,
mean, if
some things don't work,
absolutely,
and vice versa.
absolutely.
What if they had The Rock playing Barbie?
Well, I mean, who are you to judge?
I'm not.
Huh?
Well, that's what we're supposed to do on this podcast.
It is kind of judging in movies. No, I agree. I mean, I think that have certain people playing certain things, and I mean, it is what it is. But at the same time, if the movie's gonna make money, that's all that matters.
My mom, she likes Matlock. I used to watch Matlock growing
They
up on reruns.
redoing Matlock, right?
Yes, and I love Kathy Bates, and I'm like, oh, Kathy Bates is Matlock. And my mom's like, no, it's only going to be Andy Griffith.
Yeah,
It's not because she's a woman. It's just like that's not Matlock.
and
I
that's
say, but she's a good actress. You don't want to try it? Nope.
so that goes to what we talked about previously about these safe choices with IP and how like
Explain what
creators
IP is. A lot of people
intellectual
know this.
property for like people for like an idea, for example, let's say Marvel, say Avengers, right? They know that these movies have a following. Iron Man has a following.
Mhm.
Captain America has a following. So they will keep rehashing and reusing the same characters and differentiate the plot a little bit to keep the interest of the people who already have this following characters. It's so much harder to generate a new idea that gets followers. It's so much riskier.
Right.
So studios have so much at risk because they're already in so much debt. So they don't want to cast someone who's an unknown or bring up a new hero who may be, not as commonplace as Superman because they know it has a higher probability of failing. So instead of having, these cool creative casting choices or cool creative, heroes or storylines, it's too risky. They have to stick with the world of we know these are going to make
Right.
X amount of money because we have the algorithm to prove that we have this many fans and this many followers. So let's just keep generating the same stuff, the same stars, the same everything, keep everything the same because we don't mess with this formula. But what they tend to forget is movies like this were the opposite of that.
Right.
And they were the opposite of that. That was when people were creative to take risk. Quentin putting John Travolta in this
because
movie.
he was washed at
He
that
was
point.
totally washed, and
Yeah.
the studio didn't want John Travolta, and
Right.
Quentin went to bat for him over and over and over because he knew he was a perfect right role. Now look, it's like one of the most famous, popular movies of all time. So I think people have to get in a position that they are starting to take risks again. Case in point, Gladiator, Gladiator 2. Gladiator
Right.
1 was a home run. Now, I have a soft spot in my heart because it's probably my favorite movie to do number 2, but it's a safer bet than
Roy,
creating
clip that where he said to do number 2. Anyway,
to do a number 2.
yeah, that's true.
But it is a safer bet than saying creating something out of left field who may not have the following that Gladiator does have.
Is that what you tell yourself at night when you don't get the roles you want?
100%.
This is what
I look
you
at myself
just
in the
say.
mirror.
This is unfair.
I'm saying this is fine. This is what
This is why it's happening. I'm not in yet. But once you're in, you're in. That's the thing.
Yes,
so it's like a double-edged sword.
yes
You
and
want
no,
both.
because some people they get in, they got their shot. Let's look at the dude from Aladdin, the live action Aladdin.
I thought Robin Williams. I'm like, what?
He was leading Aladdin.
Yeah.
No,
Where is he?
it's-
Is he a
Exactly.
Bollywood actor? He's good though. I think he's good in Aladdin.
But so even if you get your shot, it's not. And that movie did amazing. It's still not a guarantee of
No,
the
nothing's
next 2,
guaranteed.
3, 4. Particularly in this industry, my God, it's like you have a shelf life that plummets right after something comes out until it gets back up with something new that hopefully hits.
So with casting, I mean, it does make sense. Like, okay, this budget's $250 million.
Yeah.
You know, we're more likely to get our money back if we do a superhero movie or
Yeah.
if we do a reboot or we're going to do that.
A live action cartoon that's very popular to do.
Right. So I can see like the business side of it, but it does it's just kind of, I don't want to say hypocritical, but like maybe a little bit in the industry that is about creativity and the arts, they're more conservative than anybody,
Truly.
which, then people get tired of the same old, you've seen 10 Transformer movies at this point.
Right. It's like a lot of the creatives are mathematicians versus actual artists.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the biggest problems in Hollywood now is actually the fact that the Academy, the Oscars, they don't have a actual division for casting directors,
Like a award for it.
award for casters, because that would in turn make casting directors come up with more creative choices.
I see.
And so if you gave them an outlet and a reason why to come up with creative choices and a studio who would be more understanding of the casting choices because they have to go outside of the realm of Mark Wahlberg, Leo DiCaprio,
Denzel.
Jim, Denzel, all these guys, then you're going to be finding newer talent, people who, like Paul Mescal. I mean, he is relatively kind of an unknown to be leading up Gladiator, but so is Russell Crowe when he got Gladiator.
Okay.
So, I mean, you have to have more of a creative drive from casting choices, but they're not going to take those choices because
The directors say nope.
well, at the end of the
Or
day,
producer, nope.
yeah, exactly, and they're going to look to them, and at the end of the day, they have to take zero risk because their job's on the line because they're not W-2 employees; they're freelance too. So, like, you'll have a film, bring on a casting director to cast this whole film. Well, if they do a bad job, they don't get the next job, just like actors. And so they're like,
Yeah.
how much money do I have? Can I get these stars? Because they're bankable. We know they can because they don't have an incentive to go outside this guaranteed lock of actors to find the potential next, Al Pacino 1970s. You don't have because you're not really ever driven to find those people because you have to make a guaranteed
Because
win.
everyone's looking out for their best interest, and their best interest
Well, it's all
is
about
to-
money.
to
It's
make money.
Only
It's-
about money.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's the irony of it.
I under like with concerts, like or if you're even putting on like a festival or whatever. I know, like if you have a budget, because you went with me this last one.
Yeah.
It was like Bare Naked Ladies. They had a certain budget for like an Atrium Health, and the people that put it on, they knew how much their budget was. So then we gave them through the radio station, like our connections, how much each person would charge for a one night
Sure.
concert.
Sure.
And so they're trying to get the biggest possible name for that amount of
Least
money
amount of money, yeah.
because they want the return on it with the ticket sale. So I get it because, and I know, and this kind of sucks too. Like our morning show's on a top 40. Well, we're on multiple stations, but I guess they're all top 40. But we don't play unfamiliar music. Like,
Sure.
But there are the good thing is there are avenues for that to, and then it can go more mainstream. It's tough.
Well, the only studio that's really doing that is A24. Me and Roy were talking about that. A24 is the only studio that actually is taking chances with not only the stories that they're doing, because they're not, these repeated, over and over again cyclical stories we see from those studios. They're coming up with new stories, and they're having home run after home run after home run. New talented actors. I mean, people like Florence Pugh, who now is a mainstream star, but she was with A24 before doing, I think, was it Midsummer, I think? And so that was like her breakout role. So, I mean, some studios are doing that, but for the most part, you got Warner Brothers, Sony, Paramount. These guys, they only want a guaranteed lock paycheck because they're in so much debt. They have just got to keep bailing water out, so they're not looking to take any risk or any flops. They don't want to have any of that. So because that, it stems down to now the creative choices for casting and story go out the window. There is no creative choices. It's only going to be the guaranteed locked IP.
With the big studios,
Yeah,
the big blockbusters.
It's just we have to have home run after home run, but it's not working because
You know-
no one wants to see that.
You know what's incredible about that? I was thinking when there's that series on Netflix, The Films That Made Us. I don't know if you've watched that.
I don't
If
think
you
so.
haven't, you would love it. You would love it.
Is it good as Gladiator?
No, they say Gladiator is not even worth reviewing. No, but what they did, they took these like iconic. Have you seen that, Roy? It was on Netflix. Also did The Toys That Made Us. And they go through the history, like the Ninja Turtles, and how they developed a show just solely at first to sell toys.
Yeah. Like I said.
And they go about who wrote the comic book and how much money they made. It was actually really interesting. But every single movie, it was Terminator. They did an episode on Home Alone. All these different movies that are iconic. At some point for every single one, some suit was like too risky.
Yep.
Shut it down.
Yep.
Too expensive.
Yep. It's always that.
Forrest Gump was one of them. Home Alone. They legit were like, we're done. They went around to everyone and said, they kind of knew this was coming. The studio's like, it's over budget. We're not doing it. And they had already made a deal with another studio. Like, if this happens, we're going to be this other studio. They're in talks. And so they went around and said, clean out your desk by the end of the day. And then the director and producer went around right after him and said, no, we're good. We're good. But they're going to shut down Home Alone. And then when it's a big success, we knew it would have been from the beginning. I don't know.
And that was in the 90s.
Yeah,
So imagine
1990, I believe.
how it is now.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like I said,
The budgets are much bigger.
Budgets are much bigger. There's much more to risk, and they want to make so much money per movie, so they're not going to take any chances, any risks. So you get the same thing over and over and over again. But what that's causing is actually kind of this resurgence of the '90s independent films,
Yeah.
like a Pulp Fiction, because studios like A24 and other ones upcoming are thinking, we don't want to go through the system that you have to have 30 writers in a room. Everyone has all these different ideas. It's not a cohesive story. And you have these suits making decisions for everyone unilaterally. Instead, let's do it at a lower budget. Let's have these home run after home run because you don't have to make as much. If your budget's $5 million, you make $8 million. That's a great return. But these guys who have $250 million, now you add the marketing, it's $500 million.
Mhm.
They have to make to break even. It's such a huge swing, and at the end of the day, it's hurting the creative initiative for people, actors, casting, writers, stories, all of it.
And then things like Terrifier, then through sheer tyranny of will or luck or
Yeah.
whatever, there's some luck involved, timing.
Sick people.
They do one, it does okay. But it gets a cult following, and they get a little more money, they get a little more funding. 2, and now 3. Now, if they do a 4, which
they are.
yeah,
It's already been confirmed.
Because after you watch 1 or 2, you realize it doesn't matter what happens to Art the Clown; they can bring him back.
Yeah.
In the movies, you just do what you want.
And spoiler alert, 3, he just gets away. There's no finality, I should say.
Did he really?
Yeah. Remember, he was
I was
like,
so grossed out by it. I was trying to remember what happened. At
"Oh
the
wait,
end.
you didn't see the whole thing?"
I saw. I did. We went back and watched.
Okay, yeah, he was nailed to the wall with a stake, and then she went to go get a sword or something. And she turns around. He's like, the window's open and he's out.
That's right. I like that actress, by the way.
She's
I don't
amazing.
I don't know who she is. I asked her to come on our podcast. But that probably didn't help that I don't know your name. I forgot your name. I'm just bad with names. I sent her a message.
Whoever you were, we wanted you.
She's going to be somebody.
Yeah,
because
she's amazing.
the amount of emoting for the ridiculous things happening to her that was believable was great. And she has the look.
Yeah.
Is that the? Let me see. I've seen a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
That's her.
Yeah.
What's her name? Lauren Lavera wants you on our podcast.
Lauren Lavera, we're huge fans.
She's going to be a breakout star. It's going to be you and her.
Yeah, I love it.
In some sort of movie.
Like Terrifier
Joker
8.
3, where you're dancing and singing.
I'd rather do that than Terrifier 4. Jeez. I mean, you heard about Art DeCon throwing up in one of the scenes.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, he
No, they
so gross.
They definitely invent new ways to kill people and to try to gross you out.
We don't
It's almost to the point where it's gory, kind of funny a little bit because it goes so over the top.
It's ridiculous.
Like the shower scene.
Yeah, with the chainsaw.
You don't want to watch the movie, just look at the shower scene and you'll be like, okay, if you want to get an idea what
Don't
have you
find
seen any
us.
Terrifier movies?
I saw Terrifier
2. Okay, 2 to me was horrible.
Yeah.
It was all over the place and way too long. 3 is actually a decent movie. 3 is there's actually a plot.
From
Really?
the
You
man
haven't
who
seen two,
hasn't
though.
who
You haven't
hasn't
seen
seen Gladiator.
I would much rather watch Terrifier than Gladiator.
Yeah, that
No,
makes.
I want to see Gladiator. I was out of the country for 2 years. I didn't watch TV or movies
And
for
how
2 years.
was this 30 years ago? You're out of the country for 2 years.
It's on my list. It's behind Tulsa King.
Oh, well, which I'll say is Taylor Sheridan's
What is this,
worst show.
No,
let me
it's
finish.
not.
Let me finish. If you haven't seen Landman, it came out last night
We
with
saw
Billy
one
Bob Thornton.
episode.
No, it's on 2 because they released 2.
Oh, okay.
Landman is the best. Then
Let
Lioness.
me guess. There's
then Yellow
Let me
King.
guess. There's horses in it.
No.
Oh, I bet there's horses.
I haven't
in
seen
it.
a single horse.
There'll be horses.
I haven't seen a single
He
horse.
forces horses in all his shows.
So it's,
I love his shows. Don't get me wrong. He's the man.
And Tulsa King is like
Tulsa King's freaking
down
awesome.
here.
You're not even caught up on it.
Lioness. You haven't seen Lioness. You haven't seen.
It's on my
Landman.
list. Red Man.
Landman.
It just came out last night.
I know, but you're to Tulsa King.
Tulsa King is
You're like,
awesome.
oh, Sylvester Stallone.
Roy, do you like Stallone?
He's okay.
Fun, yeah. The show is fun. But
Billy Bob Thornton.
the end of Tulsa King, we have one episode left or 2. It turns into Sopranos. It's like more serious.
Sounds awesome.
No, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Like Anna, my girlfriend, she was like, "Oh, here we go. This is it." I like it all the way across, but it's much more. There's so many factions that they're
Come
going
and talk
to
to
war.
me when you've watched Lioness, and come and talk to me
Lioness
when you've
just
watched.
came out too.
Let me finish. And Landman. Come and talk to me, and you say that Tulsa King is better than either one of those.
It just came out.
Lioness is on season 2.
Yeah, it's relatively new. So is Tulsa King season 2.
Oh my god.
I'm going to watch Lioness. I've heard.
Are you
Not
done?
because of you, but because of somebody I work with that said it was good. When you said it, I was like, no thanks. It's probably like Gladiator. Terrible. I do want to see Gladiator, though.
Well, you have this week because we'll be reviewing that next week.
Oh, I thought this was rude on your part. We have this podcast together, and then you just bought tickets for a time where I can't go see Gladiator 2.
You can go. You're probably going to be at lunch with my girlfriend like you are every other day. Literally.
You're going
every
like
day.
Thursday at 11.
Hey, no, I'm not. I'm going at 2 o'clock.
That's my nap time. You know that. That's messed up.
Narcoleptic over here.
I get up at 3:30 in the morning.
Whose fault's that? Not my fault.
What's the morning show?
I'm
host?
going at 2 o'clock. If you want to be there,
That's that.
you be
That's
there.
that unemployed time to go to that movie.
No, that's that.
That's in
that's
between
the
jobs.
That's the entrepreneur time.
or whatever, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it, in between films, time to go. I'm going to movie at 2:00 on a Thursday.
Well, I have kids, and that's their nap time. So
Well, that's nice.
they nap at the same time you do.
I know. I'm a kid. I ain't denying it. All right. Well, speaking of the Oscars, you were talking about a little bit earlier about how the casting. There's no award for the casting director.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
our
Yeah,
sponsor
so-
board, one of our sponsors, Board Rebel, is
They're
gonna
in
be
the Oscar swag bags. Yeah,
Which is
yeah. So
freaking
like when you
cool.
go to the Oscars, as awards recipients or nominated or whatever, you get like this big bag of goodies. Board Rebel actually is in that bag this year, and they're actually our sponsors. Stacy there is the best. These are amazing T-shirts, amazing quality. They got writing right in the center. You can wear a button down. It's a thick part of the shirt, so you don't see it, but cool.
which is cool. Like
fitted
you can go to
T-shirt.
like on a business meeting, but have this cool sign underneath.
Right.
Then afterwards, you
And all kinds of other cool. Like we have Yellowstone ones out now.
Yep.
That say like Beth and Rip Forever. Jamie did it. Who Killed John D? I think
Yeah.
it's Who Killed John D.
Yeah. Who killed John?
Check
D?
them out. BoardRebel.com. Use the promo code RU not 10% off all your orders. You'll love them.
And again, thanks to the Sage Plant for the Sage Plant Studios. We're gonna have a cool
Yes, a
sign
new home.
made, a neon sign, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh, feels good. It feels like I'm home.
Yeah, I don't want to leave. We've gone a little bit longer today, but it's because I feel relaxed.
I feel totally relaxed.
Plus, hearing you talk about Gladiator so much, I don't know. Sageplant.com. But until next time, and we'll see by our next episode, we will know who won the bet.
yeah, because it's opening weekend, right?
Yeah, and it'll
Okay.
be wicked.
And then when you have to pay me, I wanted ones, and I want right here on this
And
table.
I didn't do it by emotion like I did the Mike Tyson fight. I did it by.
No, you did it
what
by
I know.
Roy Townie
No,
projections.
I knew. No, I just know it has more mass appeal.
No,
I did make the bet before, didn't I?
But
And mine
he-
was worldwide.
but he wanted different terms as far as the timeline. Well, let's wait 3 years and see with
Okay.
DVD releases. Like, dude, no,
Okay,
it's
no one said that.
opening
So
weekend.
first of all, what I'm going to say is that I had total
Yeah.
confidence in it coming out.
Uh-huh.
But I guess to be fair to
Well-
you, you're not on my morning show. And our morning show, anytime we make a movie bet, it's when the bet's till it's out of theaters.
Okay, yeah,
It's not like
that's
opening
not
weekend.
that's fine for a radio station, but all of the industry judges off opening weekend. Just so you know, inside information.
So
every
you're
movie's
telling me
judged
there's
off
been
opening
no
weekend.
movie that's had a huge opening weekend that didn't just crash afterwards?
Nope.
Joker did.
No, it didn't.
It did.
It made like $20 million the opening.
No, it
weekend.
didn't. Look it up. Sorry, Roy. I may have a
I'm-
phone too. Joker 2 worldwide wouldn't make the first weekend.
Joker 2 in
Made
the
more than
US,
$20 million.
in the US opening weekend. That's how it's judged. That's what I'm telling you. You're not listening. You're too busy talking. It's about opening
the pot or
weekend
the kettle?
domestically. And you'll see.
No, it's opening weekend worldwide.
It bombed.
I know you're in the industry, but this is not a U.S. thing anymore. It's worldwide. That's why you'll see they'll have a random
40 million.
Domestic or worldwide. They probably don't show that, does it? Because I mean, you'll see some movies and they'll have like a Chinese star, not like from China, like a huge Chinese star, as you know, or something, because the box office in China is so important. Like Mission Impossible, they were told to change something. Not Mission Impossible, Top Gun 2 was told to change something on their jackets, or they wouldn't show it in mainland China, and they said screw that.
Taiwan
although they missed out on probably $400 million doing it.
Well, you understand that all other, for example, stock markets base theirs off of the U.S. stock market, right?
121 worldwide.
Okay, 121.
121 is strong.
No, it's not. They lost $100 and some million.
But you would think if they even had a 50% drop off, that's 60, and then 30, and then so forth or whatever. If they drop in 50, he dropped 80% the next weekend. It was the largest drop off ever in movie history that made over that. And they were like 82% or 80%.
But what I'm saying is $40 million on a $250 million opening weekend is a bomb.
No, 121.
Opening weekend, international,
worldwide 121.
Domestically was $40 million.
It's 120. Some movies do better overseas. Avatar made.
You're right. What am I saying, Jared? You are the professional. You've been in the industry for this long. What am I saying?
You can be right about radio stuff if I'm wrong.
No,
you're right.
I wouldn't challenge you on something I don't know about. You are the difference. You will challenge on anything you don't know about.
No,
just because you think you have heard something one time on a radio station.
Just because I haven't been in a movie or even
in the industry at all, or know the economics.
I'm in the entertainment industry
at all.
I look at numbers every week. Guess what? Avatar made like $2 billion overseas.
Uh-huh.
Well, that doesn't count.
It's not $2 billion.
It made like $700 million here. There's movies like that. It made way more money overseas than it did here.
Agreed. But it didn't make $2 billion.
So that doesn't mean that doesn't factor into anything? Yes, of course it does.
I'm saying a box office success is judged off domestic opening weekend. You don't have to like the rule. That's how Hollywood judges it.
So you're telling me if you came out with your new movie called Bo Yoakley's a Know-It-All or whatever, part 1 and 2, 3, 4, and it made $10 million here, but made $1 billion overseas the first weekend, they're like, flop.
It doesn't happen like that.
It does with certain movies. Yes, it does. There's some movies that do well overseas that don't do well here. There's some movies who do well here that don't do overseas.
I agree, but I'm saying for the most part, Jared.
Just admit you're wrong. You'll feel good about it. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel good. There's examples of that.
Okay.
Now, I'm saying, could you say as a rule, if it's a good opening weekend domestically, that it's probably a strong movie? Probably, but it's changed. I've watched it. I've looked at all the numbers. I'm a stats guy because of sports. I don't like sports.
Let's listen to him.
My argument is compelling.
I actually lean more towards your.
Thank you, Roy.
What? I'm also not a.
He's but you can't. I don't like the argument. Like, you're not a woman. You can't have any opinion about anything a woman does. You can have an opinion. I could be wrong. Like, I'm not an NBA player, but I have a lot of sports opinions.
He stepped in.
I do a sports podcast. I'm not a professional sports athlete, but I can say, hey, Mike Tyson looked terrible in that fight. He looked terrible in that fight. I can say that. I've never boxed before, but I can tell that wasn't good.
All good, man. All good. I'm not going to bill you on this
argument. You beat me in all before. You lost this one.
I'm not even going to touch what you were talking about. So.
No, but I'm saying even or like a woman can have an opinion about a man because they're not a man. They could have an opinion. They could be right about something we do that we don't see.
Yeah. And on that track,
I ain't scared.
Thank you for watching.
It's towards the end. No one's going to make it to this part anyway.
Episode 5. Yeah.
Awesome.
Rocking and rolling.
All right. Until next time.
Thanks, guys.